ready, and they almost never play. And they were ready. I got to give credit where credit is due in that regard.
I don't mean to oversimplify this because the X's and O's matter, and sometimes we